Welcome to a very special episode of Reader Seeks Romance Channel's Romance Roundup, the #1 romance book recs talk show. I am Liz Donatelli.
And I'm Libby K, author of the romance series Buckeye Falls and the new series Pine Grove FD. Both are available now through Inkspell Publishing.
Libby and I announce a show hiatus, and we share romance books by authors we're sadly unable to chat with this summer. That sounds so sad. Watch Romance Roundup on Reader Seeks Romance Channel and subscribe on YouTube. Listen to Romance Roundup on PodBean and all podcast apps. Hello, Libby.
Hello, Liz.
We have an announcement for all of our viewers and listeners. Libby and I have decided that Romance Roundup is going on a hiatus.
Hiatus.
July through September. Here are our reasons why.
We just frankly need to take a breath. On my side of the equation, I am currently working on the final round of edits for Old Flames, which is going to be book 2 in my Pine Grove FD series. Very excited for everyone to read that. I am also simultaneously writing book 3 in the series. The working title for that is Flashpoint. And for those of you who are fans of the series, book 3 is going to be Javier's book.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to fall in love with a single mom photographer. And I think you're going to love it. I'm loving it. So hopefully that makes it more palatable for the readers. And I'm also working at the same time on another writing project that I'm not quite ready to announce yet, but that is taking up a lot of my time. And so when we were talking about our summer schedule, I realized I didn't have a lot of time to read. I didn't have a lot of time to, be a person and see my husband and my family and my friends. So yeah, we're just going to take the time and I'm going to write, I'm going to edit, and hopefully I'm going to read and catch my breath.
Well, first of all, I am one of those fans especially excited for Javier's story because he's a bit of a playboy. So
Yes.
to be in a romantic relationship with a single mom sounds very out of character for him.
It is. And I am actually, I'm going to jinx it now. This is the fastest I've written a book ever. I think this is, including books that have never seen the light of day, like my 10th book. Or no, probably more than that. It's probably 11. But I wrote the other day, I just got home from work and randomly said to my husband, Trent, that I needed a few minutes, and a few minutes turned into 4 hours and 6,800 words. And it was just this like stream of consciousness, craziness. And then when I woke up the next morning and looked at it, I'm like, hey, this isn't half bad. And it's kind of snowballed from there. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. His love interest, Lola, does get introduced briefly in book 2, which is Malcolm / Smithy's and Jesse's story. So you will get a taste of what's to come in Old Flames for Flashpoint. And it's called Flashpoint because it's a term used with fires, but also I figured the camera flash because she's a photographer. So trying to, I love a good title. So I was really trying to, lean into that. Yeah, I really enjoyed her, and I thought there's something here. And then I was just on a walk a couple months ago, and I thought Javier needs to have like a woman with real responsibility. He needs to like step it up. So yeah, it's been really fun watching him, turn into a better man.
I'm excited.
Thank you.
So I am also burnt out and taking a break. I love Romance Roundup show and the community. I enjoy co-hosting with Libby. In recent months, many hours planning and recording and editing the show are activities that have always brought me enormous joy and satisfaction over the past 3 seasons. It's all become a chore for me. Reading and curating books for the show has also become a chore. And when the things that I love to do become a chore, it means I have to take a break and distance myself and gather up some more creativity through rest. I've been prioritizing the show above my physical and mental well-being. So for obvious reasons, I need to regroup. And I believe that I've created a more sustainable post-hiatus schedule. So fingers crossed for that. Also this summer, I have vacations planned and guests who are visiting me. One of those guests, some of you might be interested in knowing, is my good friend and Romance Recap co-host, Tiffany Current, who is flying in from Portugal. And in the month of September, I will be in New York helping out my mom as she recovers post shoulder surgery. So I want to be able to give my time and attention to the people I love without stressing out about making time to record and edit. During our hiatus, I hope all of you are able to catch up on episodes you've missed and or want to rewatch and re-listen to because you've enjoyed them so much. Or don't. You don't have to. Call a friend you haven't seen in 6 months. Or go to the grocery store and strike up a conversation with a rando in aisle 7. Do whatever makes you feel alive. Take care, my friends.
It's never goodbye.
In freeing up our summer schedule, we're unable to chat with a handful of romance authors about their work, so we're going to feature them now. I say this to you the last time before our hiatus. Libby, let the roundup begin.
Giddy up, Liz. Here we go. The first that I want to talk about is not a surprise. We have talked about her a lot, and hopefully we will have an opportunity to talk to her personally in the future. I want to give another quick shout out to Jess K Hardy, specifically her Bluebird Basin series. You've heard me gush about Come As You Are, her first book. It features Gen X characters, also known as mature characters with lives and day jobs, which the older I get, the more I am enjoying reading books that feature grown-ups, for lack of a better word. Book 2 is also in that series and also features an FMC and an MMC that are over 40. That one is Lips Like Sugar. And most recently this summer, she released Wish You Were Here, which is the third book. This does have the same town and characters, but this is the daughter of the lead from the first book. So I cannot wait to finish this series. I've been purposefully holding on to Wish You Were Here for a lot of reasons, least of which is I just haven't had the mental bandwidth. But that's one of those books I'm looking forward to reading and savoring. It's a second chance romance. I've loved the music and pop culture references in the series so far. And I really feel like this will be a perfect summer read because Hardy's books are sexy. There's sweet moments, there's tender moments, even sometimes a few silly moments. Her writing and her characters, they just feel like real people. And maybe that's just because they're older like me. But I just feel like it's like hanging out with friends when you read a Jess K Hardy book. So my shout out for the summer is her Bluebird Basin series. Regardless of what you're in the mood for, I think any of those, they can be read as standalones and they are just so damn enjoyable, Liz.
Interesting that Jess K Hardy has also written sci-fi romance.
I have not checked any of those out. You know how I feel about sci-fi, but I like her writing so much, I might give it a chance.
I'm really intrigued. I think I might start with the sci-fi romance and then work
there
my
you
way
go.
to Bluebird Basin.
Because you do love your aliens.
I do. So what I have is contemporary romance, Things We Do for Love and Science by Ruth Kramer. This is the gist. Delia, a high-flying geneticist and lecturer at Renwood University in England, is ready to execute step 2 of her life plan to have a baby with the help of a sperm donor. Love and marriage are not for her, and the best solution is to go it alone. Gabriel is an earl who is about to lose his ancestral home. He offers to become Delia's sperm donor, and she couldn't be more delighted. He's hot, kind, and most importantly, has a great genetic profile. Together, they cook up a plan to become co-parents, which only allows for platonic feelings of friendship. But since life is more complicated than the best laid plans, things slowly spiral out of control when Gabriel loses his heart and Delia has to decide whether to risk hers. I find it interesting because it's a contemporary romance with an earl as opposed to a historical. So I assume he's getting a significant amount of money to make this worth his while. So
I'm curious, is this something where we're talking like a scientific turkey baster situation, or are we going to make this baby the old-fashioned way?
Maybe that's part of the plot, like the conflict. It's like, ooh, should we just have sex and do it that way? Or should he just, spill into a cup? Right now, the way I'm talking is just proof that I desperately need sleep.
Yeah.
Hiatus. Hiatus.
But I think that's purposely vague in the description, probably because that's
I mean, that's probably a key plot point.
Yeah.
depending
Yeah.
on how this little Earl is created.
I'm interested in characters that are STEM educated. I'm interested in the whole Earl thing, but being a modern day Earl as
Mhm.
opposed to historical Earl. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading Things We Do for Love and Science by Ruth Kramer. All right, Libby.
So this one, I am very intrigued and very excited to read. It is called One Killer Night by Trulina Pooy. Is that how you say it?
That's how I would say it.
Okay, perfect. This comes out October 14th from Motley Press, and the tagline is amazing. It is Love is patient, love is kind, love will stab you from behind.
It's not often you read blurbs that rhyme.
Yeah, it was very catchy. I'm like, I have to read this.
Yeah.
But I did not realize this. She is a USA Today bestselling author, and the publisher says that she cranks up the heat in this sexy slasher filled romp with dark family secrets, classic horror tropes, and banter as sharp as a deranged killer's knife. So giddy up, because this sounds right up my alley. Let me read the book description for One Killer Night. It's Halloween night, and out of work writer Goldie Monroe's trip to the drugstore scares up more than the fake blood she's looking for. It leads to the man of her naughtiest dreams, and in spite of her costume, sparks fly from the moment they meet. Noah Adler is an aspiring sneaker designer, and he is impossibly gorgeous, like a tatted up version of Goldie's favorite blue eyed vampire. He's there for candy, but it's Goldie he can't resist. When she invites him to her sister's FX company bash, he's all in without a second thought. The pair's flirty connection heats up fast, carrying them to electrifying new heights. But after Goldie discovers Noah is hiding a dark secret, it all starts to crumble. Looking for answers about her own past awakens new dangers, and when Goldie and Noah land at a slasher camp for adults, a deadly tragedy threatens to repeat itself. If they can survive this one killer night, they can definitely slay happily ever after. I am obviously very intrigued. I'm not going to go so far as to say I've become obsessed with dark romance, but it is definitely becoming something I'm more intrigued by lately. And I like every once in a while I'm usually in the mood for a good slasher flick. So I feel like this coming out in October, it's going to scratch all the right itches. So I am very excited to read One Killer Night by Trulina Pooy.
I was really taken by the slasher sleepover camp for adults.
Mm-hmm.
Like that should be a thing if it's not.
Yes.
I'm actually looking to read more horror romance.
Yes.
Not necessarily dark romance, which there is a distinction, at least in my book. I want to see something that follows traditional horror fiction, horror genre tropes.
Yeah.
So, yes, I like the whole sleepaway camp slasher situation. So
That's
yeah.
my favorite with horror movies. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
I have a book by a former Zoom call-ins guest, PA Motet War. PA's rom-com Here for a Good Time releases August 26th from St. Martin's Griffin. Here's the gist. A writer's attempt to find inspiration for her new novel is sabotaged by a vacation gone horribly wrong and feelings for her off-limits best friend. Poe has the publishing career that any writer would kill for. Her first novel sold at auction. She became an international #1 bestseller, and one of her books is being turned into a Netflix film. But now, on deadline for her second book, Poe is facing a catastrophic case of writer's block. The solution? Book a 2-week getaway to an exclusive island resort for her and her best friend Zui, where she'll undoubtedly be inspired to write her next bestseller. But the vacation of their dreams disintegrates in a flash when the resort is taken over by a group of masked women who are very armed and very angry. As they try to leave the island before the group can track them down, Poe and Zui suddenly find themselves facing the kind of conflicts that only come up when, well, you're trapped in a life or death situation on a remote island with your hot best friend. So Here for a Good Time sounds like a really fun romp with a lot of love on the go. Like it almost sounds like suspense, like romantic suspense, but in a fun rom-com-y sort of way.
I imagine the pacing is going to be perfect.
I would imagine so. Yeah, it's probably gonna have really good pacing. I'm wondering though if the actual romance is a little bit more of a slow burn or if they right away are like, hey, it's life or death, and hey, I've always loved you even though you're my friends. Like, I'm curious to know the execution of it all. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading Here for a Good Time by P.A. Motet War. And that book's coming out August 26th. I'm bummed we didn't get a chance to chat again with PA this summer.
My last one hardly needs an introduction. It is by Eloisa James. Her most recent release that came out in April from Avon called Hardly a Gentleman. And this is part of her Accidental Bride series. New York Times bestselling author Eloisa James returns to the Accidental Bride series with a romance about a forced marriage between a feisty heroine and a Scottish laird, neither of whom have plans to marry, let alone fall in love. Desperate after her season comes to a spectacularly disastrous end, the Honorable Miss Clara Vetri jumps into a carriage hired to take a housekeeper up to Scotland. The Laird of Castle, and I'm going to say this wrong, Caerlaven. We're going to go with that. The Laird of.
If you say it with a Scottish accent, it won't matter. Like,
Oh, I can't do a Scottish accent.
I'm Gerard Butler, and this is Scottish slang. Bawbag! Ah, you wee bawbag! Is a scrotum.
The Laird of Castle Caerlaven has no interest in a wife, especially a love match. But when Caelan sees his new housekeeper, he changes his mind. Marriage to a delectable bookworm strikes him as the perfect arrangement. But to his surprise, Clara refuses his proposal once, and again, and yet again. When her true identity is revealed and they're forced to marry, Caelan realizes he has a far more crucial challenge. He has Clara's hand, but how will he win her heart? This is going to be a delight because everything Eloisa James writes is delightful. I kind of think of her as like the historical version of Laurie Foster. Like, I can just pick up one of her books. It doesn't matter where it is in the series. It's the perfect escape. It's just romantic enough. It's just spicy enough. Yeah, I'm a huge Eloisa James fan. So I have a feeling I will be devouring this summer in between writing, editing, and catching up on naps. Because you're going to be traveling and having a lovely time, and I will just be glued to my laptop and sleeping in my chair.
Oh, well, I mean, good for us, though, in the end, because all that toiling away is going to result in books for us to read.
That's true. And it does feel like giving birth. Not that I have anything to compare that to, but when I got done with that first draft of Old Flames, it was just like, yes.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Hopefully we'll get a chance to chat with Eloisa James at a later time. So yeah, don't hate us.
So Liz, I know you have a couple others to give shout outs for. What else do you have for us?
Enemies to Lovers rom-com Gone Country by Hunter Snow, and that releases August 12th from Tellwell Publishing. 2 worlds, 1 accidental hit song. The stage is set for the ultimate showdown. Jamie Keaton is a rock star with a reputation as fiery as her songs. Clayton Langley is a country singer who epitomizes Southern charm. Their paths were never supposed to cross, let alone collide. But when a chance encounter forces them to collaborate on a song, she's suddenly thrust into his universe of cowboy boots and steel string guitars. As old resentments and undeniable chemistry simmer beneath the surface, Jamie must decide whether to embrace the unfamiliar world she's been dragged into, or to stoke the fire of their rivalry and watch everything burn.
Insert Elmo meme.
One of your famous memes to text to me is the Elmo, it's all gonna let it burn. First of all, I dig the rock star thing. And I like the country mouse meets the city mouse. Is that kind of like the old fashioned way of talking about that trope? It's like,
I mean, that's how I would see it. So I'm giddy up. I'm all aboard.
Okay. So yeah, so I like that whole, I guess because I feel a little bit like that, having grown up in New York City, having lived for a significant time in my adult life in Los Angeles, and now living in Ohio. I feel as if I have gone from, city mouse to country mouse. So I do like that dynamic. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to reading Gone Country by Hunter Snow. And I am curious to know what he means by 1 accidental hit song. How
Yeah, like,
accidentally did it become a hit song?
I mean, I'm sure there's a story behind that, and it will play a big part in this story.
Yes, I'm thinking you are correct. Oh man, I'm losing it.
I know. Hurry, we're almost done.
Hurry. So, one last book I wanted to shout out to is a book by a recent guest on the show, Jennifer Moffat, the author of Flirty Dancing. Jennifer brought to my attention that she has a book coming out July 29th by Entwined Publishing. It is book 3 in her Falling Hard series, and this is Friends to Lovers rom-com, A Hard Note. And this is also with a rock star.
Ooh.
Here's the gist of A Hard Note: trying to find perfect harmony from rock bottom. Morgan has hit the rockiest of bottoms, fired from his job, a broken heart, a failed band. Morgan has to face the ugly reality of how he got to this point. He is a bad person. Now, I'm thinking he's not really a bad person. It's just that he's assuming, hey, I must be a bad person if this is happening to me.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
I think that's the interpretation. I just wanted to make that clear. While drowning his sorrows, he strikes up an unlikely relationship with Casio, a cranky bartender who has no problem asking Morgan the tough questions about who he wants to be. Their friendship grows over time as Casio helps Morgan tear down the walls he's built up around himself and put his life back together, one piece at a time. Job hunting, volunteering, finding a new band, things are heading in the right direction until it all comes screeching to a halt. Because Morgan realizes he has feelings for Casio. This is the worst idea ever and could lead to everything coming crashing back down. Can Morgan ignore those feelings for his best friend, or will he ruin it all again? So this is a male Friends to Lovers rom-com. So, I mean, come on. We're all in.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a male romance, we need to be reading it.
Yes, absolutely. That is I am not sick of that genre or trope at all.
Yeah. And Rockstar and a best friends, like
Yes.
road
No,
sex,
I love Friends to Lovers.
Friends to Lovers, sex on the road. I'm guessing that oh wait, he's between bands. So obviously there is no traveling yet. But I'm hoping there's a travel scene with some sex, some travel
Wink,
sex.
wink.
Winkety wink. So I'm looking forward to reading A Hard Note by Jennifer Moffat. Well, and that's our roundup. Watch Romance Roundup on Reader Seeks Romance channel and subscribe on YouTube. Listen to Romance Roundup on PodBean and all podcast apps. Thanks for joining us, romance readers. Stay well.
Happy reading, everyone.